My name is Kyle Warner, and the last year has been rough to say the least. I've watched friends and family lose loved ones to COVID. I've seen politicians and corporate media continue to divide the country. And in June of 2021, after being promised that the COVID-19 vaccines were the tested, safe, and effective solution to the pandemic, I was seriously injured by my second dose of Pfizer. As a professional athlete, this came out of nowhere. I had spent the last decade relying on my heart and my body as my primary source of income. I was so used to it always working. Exercise was my outlet, racing bikes my job. I took that for granted, and in an instant, I went from winning mountain bike races to being completely bedridden. The last 7 months have been a revolving door of doctors, hospital, and cardiology visits. I've been unable to work and have spent tens of thousands of dollars out of pocket in hopes of getting my old life back. Immediately after my injury, I was quiet. I didn't want to create any hesitancy because I just kept being told my injury was extremely rare, and I drew the short straw. After suffering in silence for a few months, I was desperate to find answers, to finally hear something other than, "We think this will get better eventually." I decided to share my experience by posting a video on social media, and over the next few days, I was flooded with comments and private messages from others sharing stories of their injuries. Within a week, I had received over 1,000 people's testimonies from all across the world. Pfizer, Moderna, J&J, all the symptoms were the same. Their experience at the hospitals was also the same. They just kept being told to hang tight and stay quiet. That was when I met this beautiful group of people behind me. The team of injured people at React 19 saw my story and reached out. They offered me some ideas for possible treatments and things that seemed to help ease their pains. I broke down in tears as I realized I wasn't alone in the search for answers. When I told them I had gotten thousands of responses to my post, they said, "Yeah, we know. We currently have over 5,000 members." I couldn't believe it. How had I not heard about these injuries before getting my shot? How were corporate media and public health officials still insisting the COVID-19 vaccines are completely safe and effective, especially if there's thousands of injured Americans in one online support group? It made no sense to me. I asked them naively, what about the companies involved? Shouldn't Pfizer or Moderna be responsible for helping the people that they're injuring? That's when I learned about the loopholes in the emergency use authorization. Until then, I wasn't aware of the fact that the companies selling the shots had been granted total legal immunity by the US government. Even worse than that, I learned that the COVID vaccines are not eligible for the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program due to their unapproved status. This means that none of the injuries behind me qualify for the government aid program specifically established to help injured Americans with vaccine injuries. Zero corporate liability, zero backup plan. What could go wrong? Well, since September, our little group of 5,000 injured people has grown to more than 12,500. Each one of my friends behind me represents more than 1,000 others in React 19 who have been injured by the COVID vaccines and could not be here today. This is real. People are being harmed. People are losing their livelihoods and in some cases their lives, while the government and companies like Pfizer sit by and watch. Not only are our calls for help being ignored, we are actively being censored and discredited by mainstream media. We are not conspiracy theorists and anti-vaxxers. We are Americans, just like you, from every different background possible. Yet we are united by one thing. We were asked to do our part by our country and then cast aside in the name of profit. Whether it's polluting our water, poisoning our food, or putting carcinogens in our homes, we know corporations cannot be trusted blindly. Yet here we are. Our government is failing us again. The fact is that private corporations are making billions of dollars conducting clinical trials on us at our expense. It is completely unacceptable. Today, I issue a challenge to President Joe Biden, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and CDC Director Rochelle Walensky. I challenge you to set up a meeting and talk to this group. Look them in their eyes. Acknowledge their suffering. Admit this is real, not just rare. If they won't talk to us, maybe Joe Rogan will. If they truly care about the health of the American people, they would approve these vaccines and make the companies responsible for the damage they are causing. If in fact these injuries are so rare, it won't impact profits much at all. I promise their favorite lobbyists won't be too mad. But to even consider requiring a vaccine that no one will stand behind is a total disgrace to the very idea of America. We shouldn't be here. This shouldn't be our responsibility. But thanks to the greed of these companies and the current administration, it is our reality. If they won't help us, who will? Please consider supporting the injured by texting REACT to 50155. And please join us in a moment of silence to acknowledge those who have been injured by the COVID-19 vaccines. My friend Ernest behind me, he lost his son, his 14-year-old son, to myocarditis from Pfizer. Ernest, your son's life deserves to be acknowledged. Your loss deserves to be acknowledged. We love you guys. Please join us in this moment of silence. Thank you so much for being